Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review, we are looking at the Variable Action Heroes One Piece PERONA, which is the past blue version, meaning pre-time skip. And this is just a great example of what Variable Action Heroes or Mega House excel at. They're so good at packing in the details and accessories. This figure has a load of accessories, and it's just got such a good paint job. Like I always noticed it on these figures, but this one, it just really brought it to my attention. They really are giving us statue level paint jobs on these action figures, and it's very, very good. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands, let's go to the top of the head, not including the hat, about 17.5 centimeters, which makes it just about 7 inches, almost exactly to the top of her head. Of course, this hat will take her a little bit higher. But that's one of the examples too, is look at the detail on this thing. Not only is it painted well, but it's completely hollow. Like, so many lines would have just made that solid and painted it black in the middle or something like that. But it's not. It's totally properly sculpted and painted. Then look at the paint. We just have shading throughout all of the hair. Everything's nice and lined up cleanly. The torso has all kinds of nice paint work. This part down here, the skirt piece, very clean. The wrists could be a little better, but it's still painted well. The pants stripes are definitely done well enough. The boots buckles are done. There's shading throughout the boots. Pretty much every part of this figure that is supposed to be painted is painted and shaded, and it's just, yeah, there's shading throughout the red up there and down here. There's shading throughout the white part. There is some shading on the skin, though it's a very, very pale. It's just so nicely done. So very well done. And they capture the style of One Piece perfectly. Can't complain about that at all. Now, before we talk about the figure anymore, let's talk about the accessories, because this figure has a whole bunch of them. As far as hands go, we have the 2 fist hands that come on her in the package, 2 gripping hands, 2 style pose hands, and then 2 relaxed hands. We have a total of 5 different faces. We have the standard face, which comes on her in the package, 1 face where she's got her tongue sticking out, 1 where she looks angry, 1 where she's yelling, and then 1 where she is scared. And all of them are done very nicely. Good paintwork throughout. We do have her umbrella, which is just loaded with shading. Looks really, really nice. The handle part is metal, and then there's more shading and paintwork on the top, which is just very nicely done. We have 2 different versions of her little ghost buddies. We have one that is just meant to be connected with a Variable Action Heroes display stand. Does not come with it, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's nice translucent plastic with white kind of frosty painting and a ball peg for the head articulation. And then we have the other ghost guy, which has the removable midsection and then the alternate clip to make it look like he's going through a wall or a person. Very cool concept and then nicely done. And he does also have a ball peg for his head. And then lastly, we have a speech bubble type effect, but we don't have a stand for it. So you do have to get the alternate or sold separately Variable Action Heroes display stand, which they're very cheap. So you can do that if you want to. All right, so let's talk about this figure. I guess technically I should be fair. You could consider the cloak here a separate accessory. It does come off. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take it off for the review so I can show you the body more appropriately. I wouldn't really recommend you do this just because she's supposed to be wearing it, but for the sake of me showing you the articulation, it's better to take it off. Also, but it's better to just take it off for the articulation. And I will show you while we're here, actually. We're back to using this really crappy design for the neck articulation. This block of plastic up here makes this ball hinge worthless. You can't rotate it properly, so essentially it's just a swivel hinge, which is not what you want for a neck. Just make it a double ball peg, Mega House. Make it a double ball peg. It's such a weird design. I don't know why they started doing it. They shouldn't be doing it. It's not good. So I'll show you how functional the head is in a second, but I mean, it doesn't totally kill the figure by any means, but it's definitely not a good design. So you can really only lean forward and back on that hinge or rotate it and lean forward and back. Luckily, the neck's on a ball peg, so you can get the head to move around as you need it to, but it would just be so much better if it was a double ball peg at the top and a ball peg at the bottom. The hair does have a swivel in it they peg in, so that'll help you pose it. And then, like I said, this piece comes off. It's meant to, so you can do it. Don't worry about that, but I don't think you really need to. Anyway, we have a butterfly joint, which works a little tiny bit. Not really accomplishing too much there, but it is there. Then we have our ball hinge for the shoulder, which works just fine. No issues, full rotation. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, but really good range, so that's good. And then for the wrists, Good luck trying to get in there to swap the hands out. It's a total pain in the butt. Yeah, I can't even do it right now. They're little tiny ball hinges. I can see in there, but because of the way the sleeve is made, it's very difficult to do that. You may want to hit it with a hairdryer or something to warm it up first. For the torso, it's not great. We don't have really any range here. We can only lean her forward on her upper diaphragm joint, which doesn't have that much range, and leaning back is not very great either. Going side to side, almost nothing. Just a little bit of rotation out of that upper diaphragm joint. We do have a ball peg down here where the shirt meets the skin, and that does let her lean a fair amount, so it's probably good enough. The skirt is a separate piece, so if you wanted to be a prevert, you could do that and take that off if you really wanted to. Be very careful if you're going to pop this apart, though. It's not intended for it. But it is loose, so it won't get in the way of posing too much, but you can see there's no other torso articulation. So it's very limited in the torso, just a little bit of leaning, really. And then for the hips, it's not sculpted nice at all, because it's supposed to have the skirt on there, you pervert. Stop taking the skirt off. But you do get really good range out of them. Full-on splits if you want them. You can bring the legs pretty far forward. It's kind of soft plastic in there, so it'll flex a little bit, but not that much. But you get decent range. It's not too bad. And then it's kind of like a Figma in that you can move the legs forward and back on a ball peg. So if you're having some issue, you can kind of adjust it and do that. They go back a little bit, full-on thigh swivel, so no real issues there, other than the legs are very floppy side to side. That's definitely a problem. I haven't had her actually fall over once you get her posed, but it's definitely a little bit floppy. Single jointed knee, a little bit better than 90 degrees. Good enough, nothing special. It's pretty well hidden by the stripage, but at the same time, it should be black right there, so they could have definitely just made that black and it would have looked better, but they didn't. We have a ball hinge for the ankle, which works just fine. No issues at all there. And then we have a ball peg for the toe piece, which is kind of irrelevant. Doesn't really do too much, but it'll help you just keep her foot level on the shelf if you want to do that. So yeah, it's a really solid figure. The only real complaint I have, that design for the neck articulation, which isn't a big deal. And then the hips are definitely a little loose side to side, but loaded with paint, loaded with sculpt, loaded with accessories. Can't really beat it. I think they did a really, really good job, and I would definitely recommend it. If you're into One Piece or Mega House or Variable Action Heroes or just cool figures, this is one you may, or if you're a pervert, you just may want to pick this up. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.